If you're looking to buy a 65-inch TV in 2026, honestly, this is one of the best times ever to do it. Prices have dropped hard, the tech has leveled up in a big way, and there are legit great options at almost every price point right now. Whether you're shopping on a tight budget or you're ready to spend big on a premium OLED, I've already done the research so you don't have to. In this video, I'm breaking down the top 10 best 65-inch smart TVs you can buy this year, from budget-friendly picks all the way up to flagship-level monsters. And real quick, if videos like this help you out, hit like and consider subscribing. I'm building this channel with honest tech advice, and your support really helps. I will add links of these TVs in the description of this video so you can check out. Number 10. Samsung U8000F Crystal UHD. Alright, kicking things off at number 10 is the Samsung U8000F Crystal UHD, and the main reason it's on this list is the price. You're getting a 65-inch Samsung TV for around $428, which is honestly kind of wild in 2026. Now let's be clear, this isn't a TV that's going to blow you away with crazy contrast or insane brightness. It's a standard LED panel, so blacks aren't super deep and HDR is pretty basic. Brightness tops out around the 300 to 400 nit range, which is fine for normal rooms, but not great if your space gets a lot of sunlight. That said, for everyday use, it actually does a solid job. Samsung's Crystal Processor 4K handles upscaling well, so cable TV, YouTube, and streaming apps look clean and sharp. And Tizen OS is still one of the smoothest smart TV platforms out there. Fast, simple, and loaded with apps. Gaming is casual-friendly here. You're limited to 60 Hz, but input lag is low enough for PS5, Xbox, or Switch if you're not super competitive. If you want a big, reliable TV from a trusted brand for a bedroom, guest room, or just basic viewing, this is one of the best ultra-budget options you can buy. Number 9. Hisense QD7QF. If you think good color always costs a lot of money, this TV kind of breaks that idea. The Hisense QD7QF usually comes in under $500, and it's one of the cheapest ways to get quantum dot performance on a 65-inch screen. In real-world use, the colors are the first thing you'll notice. Thanks to that quantum dot layer, everything looks more vibrant compared to basic LED TVs in this price range. Brightness lands around 500 to 600 nits, which is a solid step up from entry-level panels and makes HDR content look noticeably better. It runs Fire TV, which isn't everyone's favorite, but it works fine. All the major apps are here, Alexa is built in, and performance is smooth enough that it doesn't feel slow or frustrating. You'll see some ads, but that's part of how the price stays low. This is still a 60 Hz TV, so it's not aimed at competitive gaming, but for movies, shows, sports, and casual gaming, it delivers really good results. Motion is clean, contrast is decent, and overall image quality punches above its weight. If you want the best-looking picture under $500 without going mini LED, the QD7QF is a really easy recommendation. Number 8. TCL QM6K. If you've ever thought mini LED TVs were way out of budget, this one might surprise you. The TCL QM6K usually sits around $599, and it's one of the cheapest ways to get real mini LED backlighting on a 65-inch TV. The big upgrade here is local dimming. With hundreds of dimming zones, contrast is noticeably better than regular LED TVs. Blacks look deeper, highlights stand out more, and HDR content actually starts to feel like HDR. Brightness hits around 700 to 800 nits, which is plenty for most rooms. It runs Google TV, which is clean, easy to use, and way less cluttered than Fire TV. Everything feels smooth, app support is great, and recommendations are actually useful instead of annoying. This is still a 60 Hz panel, so hardcore gamers may want to step up to the next tier, but input lag is low enough for casual gaming without issues. Where this TV really shines is movies and TV shows, especially in darker scenes where that local dimming makes a real difference. If you're shopping on a tight budget but want the best picture quality possible without jumping to OLED, the TCL QM6K is an absolute no-brainer. Number 7. Samsung QN90F Neo QLED. If you watch TV in a bright living room with a lot of windows, this TV solves a problem most TVs still struggle with. The Samsung QN90F Neo QLED is built for rooms where glare and reflections usually ruin the experience. The standout feature is Samsung's glare-free matte display, and it's honestly impressive. Reflections are dramatically reduced without making the image look dull or washed out. Combine that with mini LED backlighting and peak brightness pushing around 2,500 nits, and you get an image that stays punchy even in direct daylight. This TV is also a monster for sports and gaming. You're getting a 165Hz refresh rate, full HDMI 2.1 support, and very low input lag. Motion looks incredibly smooth, and fast action stays clean and sharp. Samsung's Neo Quantum processor does excellent upscaling, so cable TV and streaming content look better than you'd expect. And Tizen OS is fast, reliable, and packed with apps. It's not OLED, so blacks aren't perfect, and you might notice a little blooming in very dark scenes. But for bright room viewing and high-performance gaming, this TV absolutely earns its spot on the list. Number 6. TCL QM7K. If you want near-flagship performance without paying flagship money, this TV is hard to ignore. The TCL QM7K usually sells between $800 and $1,000, and for what you get, the value is kind of ridiculous. This is a mini LED TV with thousands of dimming zones, which means contrast is excellent and blacks look surprisingly deep for a non-OLED panel. Brightness is another big win here, pushing around 2,600 nits, so HDR content looks bright, detailed, and punchy even in well-lit rooms. Gaming is where this TV really separates itself. You get a 144Hz native refresh rate, support for up to 288Hz VRR, and very low input lag. Whether you're on PS5, Xbox Series X, or PC, motion is smooth and responsive with zero drama. It runs Google TV, which is clean, fast, and easy to live with. TCL's motion handling has also improved a lot, so sports and action movies look crisp without weird artifacts. If you don't need OLED and want serious performance for under $1,000, the QM7K is one of the best value TVs you can buy right now. Number 5. TCL QM8K. If brightness is at the top of your wish list, this TV is on another level. The TCL QM8K takes everything good about the QM7K and turns it all the way up. This thing gets insanely bright. We're talking up to 5,000 nits in peak highlights. That makes HDR movies look incredible, and also makes this TV perfect for bright rooms where most OLEDs start to struggle. On top of that, the mini LED backlighting and TCL's advanced halo control keep blooming surprisingly well under control. You still get a 144Hz native refresh rate with support for 288Hz VRR, so gaming performance is excellent. Motion is smooth, input lag is low, and fast-paced games feel responsive and clean. Picture quality overall is excellent. Contrast is very close to OLED level in a lot of scenes, colors are vibrant, and highlights really pop. You don't get perfect OLED blacks, but the brightness advantage here is huge. If you want one of the brightest TVs you can buy without going OLED, and you're okay spending around $1,500, the QM8K delivers serious high-end performance for the price. Number 4. Hisense U8QG. If you want a TV that just brute forces its way to an amazing picture, this is it. The Hisense U8QG is all about raw performance, especially when it comes to brightness. This TV is ridiculously bright. Real-world measurements put it around 4,000 nits, which is more than most OLEDs, and right up there with the best mini LED TVs on the market. That means HDR highlights look intense, specular details really stand out, and the image holds up extremely well in bright rooms. It also packs thousands of local dimming zones, so contrast is excellent, and dark scenes stay controlled instead of washed out. You still won't get perfect OLED blacks, but for an LED TV, this gets very close. Gaming performance is strong too. You're getting a 165Hz refresh rate, low input lag, and full HDMI 2.1 support. On top of that, it actually has a built-in Dolby Atmos speaker system that sounds better than most TV speakers, which is a nice bonus. Google TV runs smoothly, colors look vibrant, and Hisense's processing has improved a lot. For the price it usually sells at, the U8QG competes with TVs that cost way more. If you want maximum brightness and impact without paying OLED prices, this TV is an absolute beast. Number 3. Sony Bravia 8 OLED. If you care more about how a TV looks than how bright it gets, Sony does this better than almost anyone. The Sony Bravia 8 OLED is all about picture quality that just looks right, without needing a ton of tweaking. Because it's an OLED, you get perfect blacks, infinite contrast, and extremely accurate colors. It's not the brightest OLED on the market, but it is a bit brighter than Sony's older models, and in most rooms, it looks fantastic. Where this TV really shines is motion and processing. Everything from movies to sports looks smooth and natural. One of the coolest features here is the acoustic surface audio. The screen itself acts as the speaker, so sound comes directly from the image. Dialogue feels anchored to the screen, and for built-in TV audio, it's surprisingly good. For gaming, it supports HDMI 2.1, but you only get 2 ports, which might be limiting if you have multiple consoles and a sound system. That said, if you're a PS5 owner, this TV pairs beautifully with PlayStation thanks to Sony's automatic HDR and picture optimizations. If you want an OLED that prioritizes natural image quality, excellent motion, and great sound, the Bravia 8 is a fantastic choice, especially when you find it on sale. Number 2. LG C5 OLED. If you want an OLED that does literally everything well, this is the safe bet. The LG C5 OLED has been one of the most popular TVs for years, and there's a reason people keep coming back to it. You get all the classic OLED strengths here: perfect blacks, infinite contrast, and excellent color accuracy. But this generation is noticeably brighter than older C-series models. HDR content pops more, highlights look better, and it holds up nicely in rooms with some ambient light. Gaming is where the C5 really dominates. It supports a 144Hz refresh rate, has 4 HDMI 2.1 ports, extremely low input lag, and full VRR support. Whether you're on PS5, Xbox Series X, or PC, everything just works without any headaches. LG's Game Optimizer menu also makes it super easy to dial in settings. WebOS is smooth, fast, and easy to navigate, and LG's processing does a great job with motion and upscaling. It's also one of the most well-supported TVs out there, with tons of calibration guides and long-term reliability. If you want an OLED that's great for movies, gaming, sports, and everyday streaming, the LG C5 is one of the best all-around TVs you can buy. Number 1. Samsung S95F OLED. If you want the best picture quality you can buy in a 65-inch TV right now, this is it. The Samsung S95F OLED is Samsung going all in, and it shows the moment you turn it on. This is a QD OLED, which means you still get perfect OLED blacks, but with way more brightness than traditional OLED panels. Highlights are insanely bright, colors are incredibly vibrant, and HDR content just looks next level. It's one of those TVs that makes other screens look flat once you've seen it in person. Samsung's glare-free coating is another big win. Reflections are basically a non-issue, even in bright rooms, and the image still looks sharp and punchy. You can watch this thing during the day or at night, and it never feels compromised. Gaming performance is top tier. You're getting a 165Hz refresh rate, 4 HDMI 2.1 ports, and extremely low input lag. Fast games feel smooth, responsive, and clean. Samsung's processing and upscaling are also excellent, and Tizen runs fast and reliably. Is it expensive? Yeah. But if you want the brightest OLED, the best HDR, and the most impressive overall picture quality, the S95F earns the top spot. If the budget allows, this is the one to get. So that's my list of the best 65-inch TVs you can buy in 2026. No matter your budget, there's a solid option out there right now. And honestly, TV tech has never been this good for the money. If this video helped you narrow things down, drop a like. It really helps the channel. And hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one.